If you clicked on this video, I'm going to assume that you're looking to land your first client. But everyone online is telling you that you need all these flashy testimonials and screenshots of Stripe notifications showing how much money you've made. And you're sitting there like, how do I get a client if I've never had a client? But what if I told you that you don't actually need social proof to get your very first client? Because in this video, I'm going to show you 5 creative ways that you can build authority and make sales before you have testimonials, screenshots, or big wins to show. And these are all things that you can start today, even with a tiny audience. Now, before we get into the methods, we need to fix one false belief. Because if you don't fix this, everything else I'm about to tell you will not work the way that it should. A lot of creators think people buy because of testimonials, revenue screenshots, or case studies. But that's not the main reason why people decide to work with someone. Because results alone do not convince someone to hand over their money. A really common example is the MRR marketing style that you might have seen online, where they promise you all these big outcomes like 10K months, financial freedom, done for you systems, but they never actually show you how they think or how they solve the problem. And so you're just left in the dark, and that kind of creates distrust. You can sit here and tell me that you made 10K in 1 week, but that alone is not enough to make me pay you. Because an income claim doesn't tell me how you're going to solve the problem, whether you actually have the skills to solve it, or if your method even fits my situation. This is the part most people miss. Testimonials, income claims, and case studies are not the foundation. They are just boosters. And they only work after 2 things are already clear in your content. The first is your unique approach, that is how you think, how you break down problems, and how you arrive at solutions. And the second is your personality and values. Let me show you the importance of this with an example. Imagine you're a fitness coach trying to land your first client through Instagram. You come across 2 social media experts. Coach A has insane testimonials, crazy transformations, and a huge following, but his entire method is paid ads. And then Coach B has fewer testimonials, but their content is strong, clear, and their method is through organic content. Now, if your goal is to land clients through organic content, you're definitely going to choose Coach B, even if Coach A has all the social proof in the world. Now, let's take this one step further. Imagine that you do find a coach who has good social proof, solid content, and a method that aligns with what you want, but their personality is terrible. You don't like how they speak, you don't align with their values, and they don't make you feel comfortable. You wouldn't want to work with them, right? And that's because your method, your personality, and your values matter far more than social proof alone. So your job right now isn't to prove that you're rich or wildly successful. It's to prove to your ideal audience that you understand their problem, you understand the outcome that they want, and you have a clear way to get them there. So the real question becomes, how do you build this kind of trust and authority without social proof? The first method is creating mock scenario content. This is one of the fastest ways to build authority with 0 clients, and most people underestimate how powerful this is. So here's how it works. You create a hypothetical scenario that your audience is currently in or desperately wants to be in, and then you walk them through how you'd handle it step by step. For example, take a look at the hook of this video. It says, if I had to lose 40 pounds by summer, here's what I do. Do you see what he's doing? He's creating a hypothetical scenario, and not just any scenario, a scenario that is specific to his audience's pain points and desires, either where they are right now or where they want to be. Then in the caption, he expands by clearly laying out the actual steps that he'd take. Here's another example, again, the same hook style. If I were getting married in 2026 and wanted my guests thinking that was such a good day, here's what I do. And then she lists the steps. And another example, this one is in the finance niche. If I needed to make an extra 1,000 pounds in the next 30 days, here's what I do. So how do you take this and make it your own? You simply structure your hook like this. If I wanted to achieve desired outcomes in X time frame, here's what I do. This type of content works so well because your audience starts imagining themselves inside the scenario. It makes them think like, oh, if I went to them with the same problem, like this is how they'd help me. And once your audience starts picturing you solving their problem, you're already halfway to the sale. The second method is posting reaction or review style content. For someone to buy from you, they first need to be sold on how you think. And reaction style videos give you the perfect opportunity to show that. Here's an example.
Does doing cardio fasted really help you burn more fat than doing it after you eat? Actually, yes, but not in the way you think. When you eat food, your body releases a hormone called insulin.
And here's another one.
Friendly reminder that if you gain weight from eating enough, that's probably the weight you're meant to be.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but you can't stay in a calorie deficit forever. Yeah, being in one is great for fat loss, but when you're constantly under eating, your body starts adapting.
Just like in those examples, you can create content reacting to bad advice in your industry, ongoing trends, or even other people's strategies. But here's the mistake I don't want you making. This is not about putting a video of you silently nodding next to the clip that you're reacting to. You actually need to speak. You need to clearly explain what you agree with, what you disagree with, what you do differently, or why something actually works or doesn't. When you do this well, it shows people your depth, your knowledge, and your experience. Because money wins alone mean nothing if people don't like your perspective, your values, or your way of explaining things. And reaction content lets them decide very quickly if you're the right fit for them. The third method is sharing your personal wins. More often than not, people end up coaching on something that they've already had to figure out for themselves. So your own transformation, that is proof. If it worked for you, it tells your audience something important. It can work for them too. You can do this by personalizing your hook with phrases like, how I achieved X result, or this is the method that got me X result, and then walk them through the journey. You can share where you were before, what you tried that didn't work, what finally clicked, and what positive results that you ended up with. Now, if you're thinking, okay, but I still want an actual testimonial, this next method is going to help you get one without waiting for months. Method 4, offering free or conditional services. This is where you offer your service for free in exchange for a testimonial or with a pay after results agreement, which is where the client agrees to pay you only if you deliver the promised results after the agreed period of working together. And if not, they don't pay you. They're more likely to say yes because you're doing this at no added risk to them. But here's the most important part. You need to treat it like a paid engagement. So clear scope, clear timeline, and clear expectations. And that brings me to the fifth and final method, which is something that most people avoid showing but probably shouldn't. And that is sharing behind the scenes content. This is where you walk your client through one specific step of the process that you would normally take a client through. You're essentially telling them what it would look like to work with you. For example, if you're a fitness coach, you can show them how you meal prep or how you grocery shop. If you're a brand designer, you can show them how you conceptualize and design. If you're a nail tech or a hairstylist, you can show them how you prep for appointments or the service process itself. If you're a social media manager or a business coach, you can show them how you come up with content ideas or how you plan your content for the week. And if you're a finance coach, you can show them how you audit your monthly expenses or come up with a budget. This kind of content lets people see your process, how you work, what to expect, and whether you're the right fit for them. Now, since you won't have actual client behind the scenes footage when you're starting out, that's completely fine. What you can do instead is show how you do each step for yourself or for a pretend client. Before you go, just a quick heads up, I am building a tool for educational creators, that is coaches, consultants, or service providers, that will tell you what content to post and also help you to do it much faster. If it is live by the time you're watching this video, you should see the link in the description. But if not, make sure that you're subscribed to be notified of when it launches. And if you want your content to make money, you need to first learn how to write good hooks. So go and watch this video next.